Hello, hello. I want to welcome all of you to another hour here on the Universal Consciousness Show. This is the show for the thinking American and global citizen. And my name is Aage, and I'm one of the hosts. Diana is our co host over in Germany. Are you there, Diana?
I am here. Hello, everyone.
Hi, hi, hi. And but first, for those of you that want to listen to this show again, go to where we archive the show on our website. That is at www.universal-consciousness-show.com. And you will also find us on YouTube and the Universal Consciousness Show. And please subscribe. That way we can send you a quick note when a new show comes out. And we're also on Facebook under me and Universal Consciousness Show, on Twitter and many other platforms where the station puts it. And spread it around, get it out there, send it viral. Just everybody needs to know. And on this show, keep a pen and a paper close by because you just might be giving some sources and resources and the information that you may want to write down. And on YouTube too, yeah, subscribe to LNM Radio. And remember, this station is member and listener supported. So on the website, hit the donate button at lnmradionetwork.com so we can continue doing this kind of work. It is important, very important, that they stay in business and flourish and get the information out there. Okay, today we're going to have a very interesting guest with us here. We have one of the sharpest people I know. This Nori Love is back on the Universal Consciousness Show, and she's a registered nurse, a REIKI master, a double certified law of attraction life coach, a hypnotherapist, and specializes in past life regressions. And she's an artist and a video podcaster on Broadcast Team Alpha, and also a co-host on the Sunday show of Broadcast Team Alpha right here on the Late Night in the Midlands platform. And we do that at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Sundays. I just couldn't help it. I had to plug that a little bit. And we'll be talking about much of the stuff that is actually out of the box. But remember, Nori is also a registered nurse, so she's got one foot within the box, and that's a good thing because there really is good things in the box. Medical science has gotten a long way. They have done phenomenal things, and we should not discard it. I have been known to give doctors and the medical profession a bad rap sometimes, but I'll tell you though, and this is not a secret, if I break my leg, guess what I'm going to do? I'm not going to call the herbalist. I'm going to call a doctor because we have a cooperation. There is a place for everything, and medical science has done phenomenal things. We must never forget that. And also, on the second half of this show, after the bottom of the hour, we would encourage if you guys were calling in and with comments or questions, we will be all ears. So, Nori, welcome back.
Yay, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be with you guys again. Hi, Diana.
Hello, Nori. I'm so happy to have you here again. And there is so much to talk about this evening, or evening in Germany, sorry. So what would you like to start with?
Well, I'd like to follow up with what Augie said about me having one foot in the box. I have been a nurse for 250 years, but
Yeah,
I've also
Nori, You don't look at you don't look a day over 175, right?
Oh, Augie, flattery will get you everywhere. Thank you. Um, but um, but I've been an alternative facilitator and provider for almost as long as that, or actually longer than that. So I'm kind of, I feel like my role is to bridge the gap between mainstream and between all of the new and amazing energy and holistic and alternative therapies and healing that's available to us. And when you have to go to the doctor, I like to see it as that you're co-creating with the doctor, you're co-creating with Western medicine. But more and more of us are going in or we're coming out of the closet in Western medicine. So if you have to co-create with Western medicine, chances are you might meet me, in the hospital, or you might meet somebody like me. So I feel like I'm helping to bridge the gap, but the gap is being bridged.
Yeah. I know that, and actually, we've had a lot of time to work together on different shows, and of course, the broadcast team Alpha, the podcast there. And I've never said this to you, but I've actually learned a lot from you.
Oh, that's so kind. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Well, you were in my 12-week body transformation. Not that you needed to transform your body, um, but you were in that class, yeah.
Yes, and I enjoyed it a lot. In fact, since you brought it up, talk a little bit about that because I think you got a new class coming up shortly, and I want to hear more about that.
Okay, so it's the body, mind, spirit, and soul fusion. Because we can be, do, have every single thing that we really, really want to. We can have the body, we can have the health, we can have the life, we can have the relationship, we can have the career, we can have all of the things that we really, really want. It's actually our birthright to have, do all of those things. The problem is we kind of get separated from ourselves. So the body, mind, spirit, and soul fusion, right? So the fusion is where you come into alignment, where you're in alignment on a physical, on a mental, on an emotional, on a spiritual, and on a soul level. And that may sound like, wow, that's a lot to do. But when you kind of click all of those awarenesses into place, it's like remembering how to ride a bike. And you're like, oh, yeah, how did I ever get away from myself? How did I ever get away from this? So sometimes we are too focused in the physical. Sometimes we neglect our spirit and we neglect our mind because we're so focused in the physical. And then sometimes we're too focused in the intellectual or in the psychological, so that we neglect our body. And if you kind of look, you'll see that you weave in and out of imbalances of all of those aspects of yourself. So it's through developing clarity on what do you really want? What do you want? And then becoming an energetic match to that. And you become an energetic match to that. And I know I'm speaking law of attraction language, by balancing all parts of you. So that's coming up in January. So you could come join that class if you want to transform your body, whether you want to lose weight or gain weight, whether you have some right? Dis in air quotes, some dis-ease in your body, and you want to heal it. If you are noticing that there's a pattern that keeps repeating in your life, and maybe it's, kind of stuck in your subconscious mind, but it keeps coming up on the physical level and maybe the emotional level because, relationships keep getting hijacked. This is the place for you to come. So the last part of the name of the class is self-mastery. So it's 12 weeks of body, mind, spirit, and soul fusion where you begin to open to your self-mastery.
Yeah, and you mentioned you were speaking the law of attraction language there, and that is not just for money and happiness and all. It is for health also, isn't it? So that we can more or less program then into the existence that we have, and this is actually there's some science behind this law of attraction if you do it right. And I know you are a double certified law of attraction life coach. So isn't there something to that?
Absolutely. There's a lot of science behind it. But the thing is, I can talk about the science, or I can help people to understand how to apply it in their life, right? Like user-friendly law of attraction. You know, we could go into quantum mechanics, we could go into quantum physics to learn about how all of it works. But if I take you down that road, I am going to take you away from applying it in your life and feeling the change that you want to make in your life that you can begin to feel with your very next thought.
Mm-hmm.
But everything is energy. Every single thing is energy. Our body is energy. The words that we say is energy. The job that we want is energy. The money is energy. The relationship is, it's all energy. But let's talk about the energy regarding the body. Dis-ease will show up on the energetic level before it shows up in your body. So if you're in alignment, body, mind, spirit, and soul, and you go, you know what, I'm not feeling really good, I don't know what it is, right? The dis-ease hasn't manifested in your cells yet, but you're intuitive, you're kind of in tune with your body. You go see a Reiki practitioner, or you go have a sound healing, right? Where you get your energy realigned, you can actually stave off illness that way. And the same thing works in the reverse. If you want to change your body, you can begin to change it on the energetic level, and then it will take shape in the physical.
Yeah.
So if you want to lose weight, the place to begin is, one, get really clear on what you want, and then to state what you want, right, in the form of an intention, or ask the universe if you feel more connected that way. And you do have to believe, you have to have a little glimmer of belief that you can achieve it, and then just get an image of one little thing. Like okay, I'll use myself. When I was more than 210 pounds, I could not envision myself a size 4. There was no way I could do that. So trying to do that would make my energy completely different than what I was trying to achieve, because it would make me emotional. I would go into how wrong I am. I would go into, the reality of what my body was at that moment. So instead, I had to scale it back into what little piece of the way that I want to be can I really, really feel or believe. And that was what it would feel like to not have my legs rubbed together. That's where that's where I started. And I could feel it. I could close my eyes and I could imagine how amazing that feels. And then after a while, I got a vision of the way that it would look. And then after a while, I got a vision of what all of my legs might look like. And then I got a vision of what my body might look like. So tonight, if you want to change your body, you can imagine your waistline smoother, right? Just, imagine yourself moving with greater ease. Imagine putting your jeans on and snapping that button and having, space between your abdomen and your jeans. So the vision is the same thing as what I was talking about, as working it in reverse with the illness.
Yeah.
Do we have to repeat that a certain time? So as the neuroscience said, that we have to repeat it 20 days, 21 days, and a certain time. So keep it in mind, the image of 40 minutes or whatever.
It doesn't even have to be 40 minutes, but I understand the school of thought that says that. It depends on the individual. I subscribe to the fact that you have to be aligned with it. So you have to put focus on it every single day. So you might be a really great manifester. You might naturally be a really great manifester, and you can get the image, bam, it's in there, and you carry that image with you all throughout the day. So for you, it might just take a reminder. Hey, remember to think about this. For other people, it might take, and I do encourage this, sitting down every morning in your energetic workshop. You sit down every morning as faithfully as you can be, and you write out the way that you want it to be, the way that it feels. And if you really want to be an overachiever, rip that page out, put it in your pocket, and then carry it with you throughout your day and read it. Read it during the day. So whatever it would take, Diana, to spend time with it, to have a vision board, right, that clues you in to remember it. But can you just go, I want it, and then have it come into place? Some people can do that, but a lot of us have things in our subconscious mind that derail us. So for people like that, and I'm one of them, I need to have intentional focus where I imagine and feel and connect with that which I'm creating until it becomes a habit.
Mm-hmm.
So
and I suppose it will also be helpful if we could feel the emotion connected to this new image that we have about us. So to feel happy as if it's already there. So you connect, you simply create a future that didn't happen yet, but you are connected, you are living this future, so you can manifest it in reality.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when you do that, that's when you become a vibrational match, an energetic match to what you want. But for some of us who have things in our subconscious mind, or we have trauma from the past, and trying to force ourselves, right, to be emotionally feeling good about it is almost more work than trying to get done what you're trying to get done. So for people like that, if you just get into the feeling place and know what you want, get a feeling of it, right, get the vision of it, then just go do things that distract you but keep you in a happy energy, right? You don't necessarily, for some people, focusing on what they want might bring up the lack of it. So if you're one of those persons, then just doing things that make you happy, just listening to your body and going, how am I feeling right now? Okay, I'm not feeling great. Okay, I'm going to go pet the cat. So this is classic Abraham Hicks. I'm going to go pet the cat. I'm going to go to a movie. I'm going to talk to my best friend, right? If you set the intention and get the vision and go to the feeling place with it and then just put it on the shelf, but keep yourself happy or neutral, you're still going to do it as if you were focused on the feeling place every single day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. It's very, very useful to know that, because I didn't know that. I thought that I have to be connected to this particular idea and to keep the image. And sometimes it's very difficult,
Right. So if it's difficult, we're moving further away from, because if you think about the way that you feel, right, when you're in that body and you are just, working it and feeling good, and you feel good, and you look good, and you love the way you move, and you feel healthy, and you feel vibrant, and you're excited to put on certain clothing. When you think about that energy, you feel really, really good. So if you, in the process of trying to get it, are trying to force yourself to feel it, but you can't feel it, then you're meeting with so much emotion that you actually feel worse. So that would be a time to just go general, right? Forget about focusing on it, because it's coming, right? You set it up, you have your intention, you believe it, put it on the side, put it in a box with a purple ribbon, and then go and just find the path of least resistance that leads you to the next happy thought or the next happy activity. And that works just as well.
I got another question for you, and that is that you are also a certified hypnotherapist, and that is not just for, now you specialize in taking people back in time and discovering past lives and things like that, but this also applies to health quite a bit. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that too.
Absolutely. So often people have heard about limitations, whether the our health is a limitation that we can't get over, whether the way that we see ourselves as, fat or unattractive is a limitation that we can't get over. The vision of that limitation, right, or the message of that limitation is somewhere in our consciousness. It's somewhere in our consciousness. And with hypnotherapy, so so what I explained to you before, right, about doing all of those steps to get in alignment with the energy and feel the body. So that's a little more practiced route, but you can actually kind of bypass that and go into your subconscious mind and discover where the limiting belief is, where in your life, maybe in your early childhood or in a past life, you said, yes, what that person said to me is correct. I am fat, unattractive, too skinny, unhealthy. I'll never be healthy. Wherever it is that you may have accepted that as your reality, we can go in with hypnotherapy, which is just a state of relaxation, go in and calm the brain waves. So that's getting real technical. You go in and through imagining beautiful scenes and scenarios, symbols, your subconscious mind will guide you to the area that needs to be shifted or uplifted or healed. And it's not like you're thinking, okay, my subconscious mind says go from A to B to C. Oh, now there it is right there. Let me get out my scalpel. It's not like that. It's a beautiful journey. You know, you might go to the beach and you're swinging in the hammock, right, side to side, and the beautiful breeze is blowing. And oh, who's that in the water? That person looks familiar. And that person may come up to you and invite you to go for a walk. And then you walk into a new life, and then it becomes very symbolic. You walk into your past life, or you journey into your past life in a way that makes sense to you. And then it becomes very symbolic. And it could be that you have a whole bunch of symbolism, like here's a purple deer, and the deer is drinking pink water, and I don't know what this means, but man, does this feel good. And here comes a person, and the person gives you a message, and the next thing that you know, through all of those symbols that make sense only to you, you achieve the shift, you achieve the healing. Now, for some people it is more linear. It is, oh my God, I remember when I was 3 years old and the doctor gave me that shot in my arm, and he said those words, and those words told me I would be sick forever. Then, you know, we approach it differently, but still you achieve the shift and the healing, and you up level that energy. And when you come out of that hypnotherapy session, you are living life without that. You are living the life, the body, the health, the well-being that you came to live before that self-limiting accepted belief got inside.
Absolutely. And I tell you, Nori, this hypnosis is something that is very close to my heart, because I've been doing hypnosis also since I was probably about 19 or maybe 20. And I have found that there really is, I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say this, there is basically nothing that can't be done under hypnosis. Anything from photographic memory, there are stories of people that have cured debilitating diseases by a few sessions of hypnosis. And there is so much that is to explore in the mind, and hypnosis will open the gate to get into that mind and have a look and see what the problem is, so they can allow the body to heal itself. And I'm just rambling, Nori.
No, exactly. And I so agree with you. Going in, anything can be achieved, absolutely anything. But you just have to get to it. So let's say there was that limiting belief. Then it's complicated by your family dynamics. Then it's complicated by, it's covered up with a layer of that relationship that went bad and all of the thoughts that galvanized that limiting belief because it was playing out in that part of your life. And then it took shape in that time when, you know, that person that you love was dying. So the limiting belief gets buried, but it also kind of threads through every experience that we have, so that it almost becomes stronger as we go on. So when we go in through hypnotherapy, we quiet the part of the brain that says, No, you cannot do that. We quiet the analytical part of the brain. We quiet the part of the brain that's full of doubt and fear. And we get to that place where you know that you are pure positive energy. You know that you're a spark of the creator expressing on the planet. You know that it's your divine birthright to be, do, have all of those things that you want. And it's right there that you can make the change happen, and you carry it with you back into your waking life. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I see we have 5 minutes left before we got to go to break. And I'd like you to tell people at least twice in the show here where they can get a hold of you. Let's tell us where you can they can get a hold of you now and then also at the end of the show. And that should teach you guys that didn't get the pen out.
All right. So you can go to my website, which is in process. It's called everythingconscious.com, everythingconscious.com. Or if you want to connect with me personally, if you want more information, you can just send me an email at norilovemail@gmail.com, norilovemail@gmail.com. You can follow me, of course, on Facebook. There's Coaching with Love, Hypnotherapy with Love. If you're interested in the body, mind, spirit, and soul fusion self-mastery, there is a Facebook page just for that. And there's all kinds of uplifting and empowering stuff on there too. Aage, do you have the phone number in case people want to call us on the second half of the show?
Yeah, and we'll be back probably at about 35 minutes after or so. So that phone number is 202-559-7943. I'll repeat that, 202-559-7943.
And I will take calls on any subject that you would like to discuss, whether it's hypnotherapy or law of attraction, whether it's healing, or if you want a quick healing session, you can call me, and I'll just be happy to connect and talk with you.
Mm-hmm. And also, I know you're starting that other seminar in January,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to say to the listeners that I sat through one that she did before, and like I said earlier, I learned a lot from Nori, and in fact, I both learned and I remembered and I relearned some of these things, and that's what we need. There are things that we know, we've heard of it, but we don't think about it because we don't remember. Once we hear it again, then it becomes prevalent in our mind and we start practicing, we start doing it again. And that is one of the things that for many of us is missing.
And there's the magic word. You said practice. So after 12 weeks of being with me and the other like-minded people, you will have a daily practice where you make sure that you're connected, body, mind, spirit, and soul. And from there, you can be, do, have, create anything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yay.
All right. And you know what we're talking about now is mostly of the mind created health. But we got to remember also that we live in I almost said dangerous world, but a tricky world, because there are poisons out there, and there are things that we got to be careful about. Don't step out in the street in front of a bus, that could really go bad. And there are things that simple things that if we just find out in Iceland, people just flat don't get sick.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because that they live on a volcanic island. They have a lot of sulfur in their food. If you get enough sulfur, it kills off bacteria and virus.
Mm-hmm.
And in India, they don't have hardly any cancers, especially, I guess in Bangalore they do because McDonald's is over there. But
I can't believe you said that. Okay.
I'm doing that with tongue in cheek because a lot of people eat McDonald's and they don't have cancer.
Okay.
So, but but still, out in the country they eat curcumin. They live off the land, and they don't get cancers. So and also, I guess I got 30 seconds left, and before the break, so I'm gonna say something else also that we can do. Remember, back in 1931, the Nobel Prize was given to Dr. Warburg for discovering that no bacteria or virus can live in a heavy oxygenated environment, an alkaline environment. So if we alkalize and oxygenate the body, we're not going to get sick. And one of the things that I do is several times a week, I sit down and hyperventilate for 5 minutes. I get a lot of oxygen into the blood. Blood gets everywhere in the body, and it kills off the bacteria and virus. This is what my martial art master told me decades ago, and it works. He said, if you do this, you'll never get sick. And I've really never been sick, except for a few well-deserved hangovers. But this is something we gotta also take care of, the nutritional part, because we need that together with what the mind creates. So I guess we're down at the bottom of the hour, and we'll take our break, and we'll come back and we'll talk more about these kinds of interesting things. And don't forget to get your pen and your paper out, because this is going to be one good ride.
There are days that the red pill is bitter in my stomach, but I can't get it back out. I think because I have to. I speak because I have no choice. I walk through this dark age we're in with open eyes. Listen to Open Eyes on latenightinthemidlands.com. And together, maybe we won't stumble and fall.
Data. The sensors can't penetrate the planet's ionosphere. There's too much interference. Can you find a way to scan for life forms?
I would be happy to, sir. I just love scanning for life forms. Life forms. You tiny little life forms. You precious little life forms. Where are you?
Even the ETs know this is the place to be. LNM Radio Network.
You can listen to the LNM Radio Network 24 hours a day, 7 days a week through the Paranormal Radio app. Available from lnmradionetwork.com or TalkStreamLive.com on both Android and Apple. Our call to listen line is open 24/7. Dial 701-719-9704 so you can listen on the go.
Ever wanted to be sure your robot slave was behaving? Is Echo getting out of control and meeting with Alexa when you're not around? You need RoboGrog. RoboGrog is the new product from Snooze You Lose, the company that also brought you the fine products of Flog a Horse and Calm You Down Now. RoboGrog will put your robotic minions to sleep, bringing their AI a sense of peace and comfort. It does this by sending bolts of electricity straight where the sun doesn't shine. Get RoboGrog today at any fine retailer and set yourself free from the devices that bind you.
You can't just throw someone into prison and silence their warning because you don't agree with them. You don't have to like my methods or what I stand for. Silencing me won't make the problem go away. It will just whittle away at the ability of people to be ready for the real threats. And when the worst happens, and it will, maybe you can take comfort in protecting the people from a dangerous radical who wanted to tell them the truth.
Tired of searching for great talk and great information? Look no more. LNM Radio Network, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Back home, there's a growing pro-Earth movement. Rumors of hate groups targeting aliens. And on all sides, the fanatics think that society has to be protected against anyone who's different. I'm starting to wonder if what we just saw is a preview of things to come.
Oh, I can't believe they'd be that foolish.
Santayana. Those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it.
Hello, we are back with the Universal Consciousness Show, and we are talking with Nori Love. We have been talking about what the mind can do to keep us healthy, both physically, mentally, spiritually, and otherwise, if there is an otherwise. So I just had a text from somebody in Europe that asked, can you touch a little bit on time regressions, going back, finding previous lives? Could you?
Yeah. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure what aspect of it they would like. I mean, you.
I don't know exactly either. That was all the
yeah.
text,
So
but
yeah, let me try and correlate it to what we're talking about. So. People have gone back into past lives inspired by something that was happening in their life now. Like they saw a repeating pattern in a relationship. They saw a repeating pattern in their health. They saw a repeating pattern that wasn't a great pattern, in an area of their life. And they tried like everything that they knew to try. And they decided to go back into a past life. And some people found that, back in ancient Rome, the father wanted the daughter to actually inherit the throne, and the brother had done something to her because it was out of the ordinary, especially for that time, for that to happen. And he hurt her some way, and that injury was showing up as pain in her life. So we went back through hypnotherapy and regression and actually shifted the vibration around that experience and around that injury. And then that pattern and that pain stopped playing out in her life. So if you suspect that there's something going on in your life now that you just have this feeling in your gut that it doesn't have to do with what's going on this life, then, you might want to just talk with me, have a conversation with me about past life regression to see if maybe that's a place where you would like to look in order to make that thing that keeps showing up better. And you can send me an email at norilovemail@gmail.com. I'll be happy to talk with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know there's a lot that could be done there. And I, in the past also, I did some with that. And I tried to stay away from people doing it just for curiosity. But it is a curious subject, just to want to know what you have done before. And if that what you did before is affecting you right now, that could become very important.
Absolutely. And, your subconscious mind, even if you're going in it for curiosity, if you can't verbalize an intention for wanting to go, that you're just curious, your subconscious mind is still going to give you that answer that you're not saying, that answer to the question you're not asking out loud, because there is a question if you're going to go seek it. There's a question beneath the curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But you mentioned before, Aage, about the, over oxygenating and living in an area that has a lot of sulfur. And the thing that I find is that people are like, well, how does that help me? And how do I know what I need? And a lot of people try, right? They have trial and error with diets. They have trial and error with supplements. They have trial and error with things that they latch on to because it's the current thing to do, because that's all that's in front of them right now. The thing that I love about the body, mind, spirit, and soul fusion self-mastery is that you go in and create what you need so that it works for you. Like you may be forcing yourself to do a keto diet, right? And you're doing keto, all week long, and then you fall off it, and you eat, I don't know, a whole strawberry cheesecake because you're so in carbohydrate deficit. That's not working for you. There is something else that will work for you. And it's in that place of coherence, right? Body, mind, spirit, and soul fusion. It's in that place of coherence, even on an energetic level, coherence, right? Your heart rhythm goes into coherence, your brain waves, every part of you goes into coherence. When you are coherent, you are open to your intuition. You are open to the part of you that knows what you need. And it'll say, hey, why don't you move to Mineral Springs, Arkansas? And you're like, what is that? And it just so happens that you end up moving there and you find out that that part of the country is fabulous for you. So all of the answers that you need are inside of you. It's just a matter of how are you going to get to them?
Yeah. We got to listen to this little voice in the back of our head. And I found in the past, whenever I ignore that voice, things don't quite turn out good all the time.
Well, and maybe they turn out okay, but the thing that I find is that when the voice is pretty prominent, like you're like, oh, that was an inspiration, oh, that was the voice, and you don't listen to it, it's a little more quiet the next time, or we get a little more busy so we don't notice it. So but the beautiful part of it is the next time you hear that voice and you act on it, then it becomes amplified, and it's going to guide you to where you want to go, do, be, have, all of it.
Yeah.
But how can we make the difference between the voice that is connected to our intuition, to our divine self, and the voice that is chattering in our mind because of the fear?
Oh, that's a good question. So how do you feel, right? How do you feel at that moment? And if you feel anxious, scared, right, your fists are balled up, the neck muscles are really tight, your lower lip is trembling, you feel like crying, you don't know why, you're angry, you don't know why, then you can go, who does this belong to? Because if you are empathic, and if you are intuitive, and if you are a sensitive being, you can actually feel, right? You can feel the energies of other people. So that it might seem like, wow, that's that chattery voice. And then you find out that chattery voice wasn't even yours. So a great tool, and this is Access Consciousness, is to just stop and go, who does this belong to? If you feel light, like if you feel light in your gut, then you know it's not yours. If you feel heavy in your gut, then you know it's yours. And then you go into the process of soothing yourself. Because when you soothe yourself, you attune your ears to that quiet voice inside of you. So if you're having a lot of physical reactions, it's the analytical, chattery monkey mind, if you will. So that's a great question.
Okay. Yeah, because there are lots of time when you need to do a change in your life, and there is this voice inside that tell you don't do it, but you don't know exactly, is it the divine me that it's saying don't do it, or is the fear of changing?
Right. So in big situations like that, I recommend working with a coach. When I get to a roadblock like that, I will hone in on a very specialized coach to help me discern, if it's a really big choice. But there's a lot that you can do on your own. There's a lot that you can do in groups. There's a lot that you can do if you just follow the prompting. Like last night, I had a really big Reiki case with somebody who's pretty prominent, and it was just by what would appear chance that things lined up, that this person ended up receiving my phone number, and then us getting in touch. So it was just that somebody said, hey, how about this? And that person said, sure, let me do this. Let me connect with this person. And then the person who received my phone number had that inner guidance to receive my phone call and make the phone call. So it's just, following. Like the next time you get the inspiration, just go, okay, right? Sometimes you feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get listen. And maybe sometimes listen twice. Because if the first voice is talking to you and it's a little cloudy, ask again, what is that again? How can that be understood with more clarity? And just kind of have a dialogue with yourself. That is what I have found good. There are things that come to mind and I don't quite understand why or how or what even is. But I start communicating and having a dialogue with my higher self. And more information comes once you ask.
Exactly. And asking is the first step of manifestation. Ask, believe, be open to receiving, release attachment to the outcome. So that's what we were talking about before, Diana, where if you become so attached to that vision that you cause yourself, anxiety or grief trying to put yourself in the feeling place of it every day, just let go of it and just trust that it's coming, and then distract yourself with things that make you feel better. Do stuff that makes you happy. But the one thing that I really want to stress that comes before believing and comes before asking is that for any of this, there's no magic pill. And I say that because when you think there's a magic pill, it's usually because you don't want to take responsibility for the change that you want to make. It's nobody else's fault. It's not the doctor's fault. It's not your husband's fault. It's not your wife's fault. It's not your mother's fault. It's not your father's fault for what he said to you. It's not that friend who hurt you's fault. It's nobody else's fault that you are in the state of health or disease, the state of wellness or unwellness, the state of body shape that you love or the state of body shape that you don't love. It's nobody else's fault. And once you step into that, you release so much heavy energy that then you are free to soar into asking and believing and being open to receiving and following the intuition. But the absolute first place to start is to just take responsibility for where you are.
You're right.
Yeah, and you just now also mentioned Reiki, and I know you got some very high-profile people coming to you for Reiki energy work. Could you maybe say a few things about Reiki and maybe where that energy comes from and how effective it can be?
Well, Reiki is universal life force energy. And I love that it's universal life force energy because then it's neutral. And then people don't attach judgments or dogma to it. So if you're Christian, that could be the same energy that is used in faith healing. And I've used the same gift in the Christian arena. So it's universal energy. It's life source energy. It's the energy of God, if you will, your God, if you will. And it has a divine wisdom. So with a Reiki practitioner or Reiki master, we are attuned to that energy. So we are a vessel for the energy just to flow through us and to transmit to the person, to you. And the energy goes to where your body needs it. It goes to where you need healing. It's got a divine wisdom all its own. So myself as a Reiki master, like last night, I tuned in to the patient I was working with, and I use a proxy. I have this little stuffed animal. It's a lamb, and I use that as the proxy. So I'm guided to put my hands in very specific places, and I'm guided to use very specific Reiki symbols at specific times. It's, kind of divinely guided for me as well. And actually with this patient last night, I was guided to release some scar tissue in an area. So it was actually like an energetic releasing of, you could call it psychic surgery. It's called a lot of things. But on the energetic level, there is energy stored in scar tissue. And when it's released, then the cells are free to take on the shape of healing. So I think I got way off on a tangent there, but can you ask me another question so I can bring it back down to more clarity?
Well, it made sense to me actually, because once you remove the energy that does not belong in a area of tissue, then the tissue will be allowed to heal.
Right. Absolutely. And it can heal immediately, and also I had the joyous opportunity to do 5 sessions back to back. And, when you're doing Reiki, inevitably your hands will go on the chakras, energy will go to the chakras. And I got to work with 5 people in a row. And this is funny because at the root chakra, the root chakra is your safety, security, but it's also your sexuality. So 3 of the 5 people actually found themselves going home to their spouse having, unexpected sex because the energy moved in their root chakra. So, Reiki is good for many, many things, not just necessarily, healing a hip that hurts or your shoulder.
No, I bet that perked a few ears up. That, but it's true though. I understand. I've read about that too. So yeah, now we got about 3 minutes left of the show here, and I'm gonna give you the floor, Nori, to first of all also let them know where they can reach you again, and talk a little more about maybe what you're gonna do in January with that show and wherever you wanna go.
All right, thank you. Well, I'm just so grateful to have been here with you today and to talk with you and Diana. And I always love talking with you. And I think the thing I want people to know, and this is the foundation of the body, mind, spirit, and soul fusion self-mastery, is that you were born fully connected to who you are and who you came to be. And there's just things that happen along the way that make us close off to certain aspects of ourselves, right? We got hurt on the physical level, bam, we closed off to some energy there. We got hurt on the emotional level, bam, closed off to some energy there. We got hurt on the spiritual level, closed off to some energy there. So the body, mind, spirit, and soul fusion self-mastery is going back in and rediscovering who you were when you knew that you were pure health, that you were dynamic health, that you were dynamic happiness, and that you can be, do, have anything that you want. Now, does that mean that you're going to immediately become a size 4? No. Does that mean that you're going to totally heal, an accident that left you with maybe a limp? No, not necessarily. But it's going to shift the way that you feel about all that, and that's going to change your life. And even if you have a limp, or even if you're a size 7, you're going to live just like you came to the planet, full and whole and complete and beautiful. So if you're interested in learning more about that, there's the Body, Mind, Spirit, and Soul Fusion Self-Mastery Facebook page, or you can send me an email to connect with me personally. Norilovemail at gmail.com. Thank you so much, Aage and Diana. This was fun.
Oh,
Thank you very much, also. Thank you.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
And I know we will do this again. And also go to broadcastteamalpha.com and see many of our other podcasts that we have created. And I said I really meant Tom down in Florida, that he is a magician behind the works there. So he'll make... Yeah. So anyway, we will be back next week, and we will talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.